So Lava City played earlier, had a game against the Gapland Junior, I forget their full name, but they are the Smashers Elite is their team name. Smashers Elite came out on top. So Lava City was short roster and playing 2 games. Emerald City, this is their first game of the evening.
And you know why they play 2 games, Scott? Because they're kids.
That's right, and they love it.
They've got energy.
They're young. They don't have creaky knees like me.
It takes me a Coke just to get across the exhibition center to the right track.
All right, let's roll through some
this is how
rosters,
it goes.
shall we? This is how it's going to be. All right.
You don't miss me that much, do you?
I do, Bob. I miss you every day. Emerald City Junior Jazz Reservoir Dolls roster. Number 00, Death Wish. Number 04, Evil Lynn. 7 is Live and Let Cry. 13, Psychotic Angel. Number 16, Juke Skywalker. 21 is Ginger Snap. 22, Sour Patch. 27, Lethal Ivy. 30 is Instigator. 33, Skinner. Guns N' Roses is number 38. Tipsy Terror, 44. 111 is Ambassador. 113, Block and Roll. 919, Rage Quick. And number 2612, Scooby Smack.
All right.
Scooby Smack. Ruh-roh.
So for Lava City, the Cinder Kittens, we have number 22. That's Twisted Sister. 247, I'ma Be Feisty. Number 4 is Reckless. Number 414, don't try to wake her up early. It's Krabby Abby. Number 5, Trouble Clef. Number 530, Smackajewea. 711, Frecklinator. Number 88, Darth Molly. 27, Gnarly Quinn. 222, the Brooklyn Brat. And number 333, Beetlejuice.
Do not say that 3 times.
I will not. And you know, I always have a problem anytime the word brat is used because in Wisconsin we go brat, and then I get hungry.
And it is late. Juke Skywalker jamming for Emerald City. Darth Molly for Lava City. And Juke Skywalker out first. Lead jammer, Emerald City Reservoir Dolls. But Darth Molly quickly through as well.
Yeah, both of them really not a lot of resistance. Able to get through very quickly.
Juke Skywalker swings to the outside. Taps the hips. Skating out of bounds penalty. Not what you want to get as you're tapping the hips.
No. And apparently his helmet cover knew it because it popped right off.
It did. He was like, I'm done. Nope, not done. Sitting in the penalty box. And a 0-0 jam. So Krabby Abby with our first power jam of the game.
She's gonna get right over her down player on the outside of turn 1. And Krabby Abby, the only jammer out on the track at the moment, is your lead jammer.
And swinging around the outside big shoulder from number 33. That's Skinner, captain of the team, knocking out Krabby
That's a
Abby.
pancake block. She just totally laid her down to the ground.
But Krabby Abby, as you said, young, I would still be lying on the ground. Again, forced out to the inside this time as Juke Skywalker out of the penalty box. Power start over and heading back for the back block.
Yep.
So an early 2 penalties for Juke Skywalker and a second continuation of the power jam. Krabby Abby on a scoring pass.
Yeah, interesting. She signals the back 3 to go ahead and stay there.
Lava City was using this a lot in the early, not having much success with offensive blocking, so choosing to let their jammers push forward, play more of the passive game.
Personally, I always feel like if the other jammer is sitting down, bring the cavalry.
Yeah, get everyone going. Juke Skywalker finally out of the box and clears the pack. Krabby Abby being signaled by the bench furiously to call off the jam, finally does. Did grab 4 points. And Juke Skywalker grabs 3. So 2 jams in, 27 minutes to go in the first half, 3-4, Lava City with the 1-point lead. And we got number 13, Psychotic Angel, jamming for Emerald City, and 7-11, Frecklenator, jamming for Lava City. And
yeah, that defense right now giving Frecklenator a really hard time. That 4-wall, she's doing all the right things. She's cutting her shoulder in it. She's bouncing off of it. Can't break it up though. And you've got a lead jammer out there.
Yes, Psychotic Angel lead jammer for Emerald City and through with the first 5-point power jam pass, or not power jam pass, Grand Slam pass. I don't know. We'll come up with some word for it. Whatever it was, there's 5 more of them.
And it looks like Frecklenator's going to get a cut track call.
First penalty, jammer penalty for Lava City. And Psychotic Angel forced out of bounds twice, and the Brooklyn Brat with a forearm.
Yeah, that was, she got a push. They're going to call that forearm.
They will call that all day long when you literally shove someone out with your hands. Or at least got the hands out when she made contact. Could have been either way.
That's a great signal, by the way. As she watches one of Lava City's blockers fall, she just quickly shoots through that opening.
Frecklenator now out of the penalty box, but trapped behind a 4-wall at the back of the pack as Psychotic Angel threw for 4 points on that pass. 23 total on the jam.
Frecklenator frustrated at this point. She could try and play defense. She ends up getting juked off her feet.
And no penalty. I thought I heard a whistle and saw a signal, but no. And jam comes to a close as Frecklenator finally out of the pack. 28 total for Reservoir Dolls, takes them to 31 points, and Lava City calling for an official review early. And we'll send a crack Cub reporter Mr. G.I. Jones heading to the middle because he likes to run and wear shorts. Hopefully we got good video of that because that was a quality exit of the day.
But at least this time they're not LeMaine. He doesn't have elf shoes on.
Very true. Let me smack you in the face with this piece of paper as I try and pull it over so I can read some exciting sponsorship.
I've been hit with much worse.
We would like to thank Roller Derby Athletics and the Rose City Rollers for their sponsorship of this event. And running back is G.I. Jones. All right, Lava City, as reported by G.I. Jones, looking to overturn the cut track call.
That's going to be a difficult thing to do when they ran for full 2 minutes.
Yes.
But every time I say, you know what, I've never seen that. I've never seen that turned. So once in a while it happens.
I'd also like to thank Rydell Skates. Brigo, brought to you in part by Rydell and the all-new Solaris. Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. If you've been looking for comfort, you can find it in the Rydell Solaris.
I've been looking for comfort and performance.
Well, you can leave the whatever else it might be that you've been using for those things behind and go for the Solaris instead.
There you go.
All right, word from the head referee. Cut call stands. Lava City has used their official review for the half with 24 minutes, 50 seconds to go in this first period. And we will reset with Darth Molly jamming for Lava City. And a jammer with long hair jamming for Emerald City. I think that is Death Wish number 00.
Yeah, you are correct, sir. Death Wish going to clear that pack pretty quickly. And she's going to have Darth Molly not too far behind her.
And Deathwish through, not choosing to call off the jam. Penalty box currently empty. Darth Molly hung up in the pack.
Well, be it strategy or a mistake, either way, it's going to work in their favor. As unfortunately for Darth Molly, there's no light at the end of that tunnel right now.
She was forced to the inside. Deathwish tries the jump of the apex and also ends up out of bounds. Both jammers back up, but Deathwish through fastest. And she is clear with the 4-point pass.
I'll tell you, that Emerald City defense is just absolutely stifling.
They are indeed. Darth Molly forced out and 4 points up. Or, I'm sorry, Darth Molly gets the 4 points. Deathwish forced out.
Just when I said they were stifling.
Well, sometimes you get stifled. You need to give someone a breather.
Well, when you have 3 or 4 of them on the track, like we see with any kind of league, they do an amazing job of covering the track from inside line to outside line. They move very quickly. They're able to stretch themselves out that way. We saw some teams earlier today that really struggled with that. Mm-hmm. And the way the game's played right now, if you can't get that track completely covered, somebody's going to find a way through.
Juke Skywalker knocking Krabby Abby out. Krabby Abby says, you can roll back that way, but I can also loop around. And then roll, but the skating out of bounds penalty called on Darth Molly. And she gets sent to the penalty box. That was Krabby Abby, I'm sorry, as Juke Skywalker rolling through.
Yeah. Well, part of the issue. Well, the issue with that, if you're watching at home, is you can do that if you've received a penalty. We know that you can go any direction you want to the penalty box. If you are actually in play and trying to forward your position, you cannot do. So she basically improves her position by skating that direction.
Yes.
And that's an illegal procedure.
Yes. Had to follow back around rather than wait and cut over. Could have also stood still and waited. Juke Skywalker, meanwhile, through, picking up extra points, and a nice hop of the apex by Twisted Sista trying to get to the front. The rarely seen blocker apex jump. Almost worked, but missed the block at the other end. And meanwhile, Krabby Abby back to the penalty box on a low block, and Juke Skywalker also called on a penalty.
And Juke now with 3 penalties, I believe.
Yes, that would be the third. And Pack moving back forward as Krabby Abby out of bounds, backed up. And now re-engaged. Juke Skywalker out of the penalty box. Krabby Abby turning to defense with her team, but just enough room on the outside of Treble Clef. And Juke grabs the 4 points. 2-minute jam, 60-8 is our current score. Ruh-roh. Scooby Snack. Scooby Smack with an M. I keep saying snack, and that's not accurate. And number 711, Frecklenator, jamming for Lava City.
And I like that. I like to see a little jammer contact.
And it did work in Scooby Smack's advantage as he finds room on the outside of the pack and grabs lead jammer. Frecklenator forced out of bounds, crawling through the infield to get behind the pack. It worked. It was quick, but 5 points up for Scooby Smack.
Yeah, and right now is where Lava City's got to send somebody through to get her through. She's going to get there. Just as I say that, she's going to get through the pack, but it's going to be too late.
And Scooby Smack sliding in, grabs another 4, 9 total on the jam, 69 now to 8. Lava City sends Darth Molly back to the jammer lineup against Deathwish. Penalty box again empty. Both teams at full strength. Lava City lined up to the front. And
oh, nice job.
Beautiful hop over the leg. And Deathwish is the lead jammer, although Darth Molly out very quickly. But the pointing going to Deathwish. Darth Molly forced to the inside. Deathwish calls off the jam. 1 point for Deathwish, 3 for Darth Molly.
Yeah, I think Deathwish was looking to get a piece of Molly. She got a piece of her own blocker. And they both wind up out of bounds. Jam gets called off. We're going to see Twisted Sister come up against
Psychotic Angel.
Deathwish's twin sister.
Almost. Very similar hair length at least.
Does she take a shot up front?
And picks up the forearm penalty in the rebound or somewhere in that contact. So
yeah, because she certainly, it looked like she certainly took the worst of that hit.
But clearly instigating, and that's a low block penalty, I believe, called against number 414, Krabby Abby, for tossing out the hip on the run back. As Twisted Sister trying to find a way through.
Remember that compactor scene in Star Wars?
Yes.
That's got to be about what that feels like.
Twisted Sister does keep the foot inbounds, going on one leg around that corner and grabs lead jammer as the power jam is over. Psychotic Angel out of the penalty box and through as the Lava City defense gets spread out by the Reservoir Dolls. Cinder Kittens holding it to a 4-0 run. And that takes us to 70-15 with 17 minutes to go in the first period. And timeout called by Lava City Cinder Kittens. I'd like to give another shout out to Rydell Skates and Powerdyne. Powerdyne has changed the game again. Be sure to check out our newly redesigned Arius Platinum plate, Arius Platinum Performance Redefined. So this is the last game on this track tonight for Track 2 of the Big O. Also the last game technically of the evening.
Yep, the last game of the day.
Tomorrow, if you want to follow some juniors at 10:30 right here on Track 2, Angel City will play these Lava City Cinder Kittens, followed immediately by Emerald City playing against Gapland. Gapland out of the frozen north of Saskatchewan. Seriously. Drove all the way down. I'm assuming they drove. Perhaps it was a dog sled. I don't know. But I'm guessing it's
I love Canada much more than the Border Patrol loves me. But if you can actually get an entire league put together in Saskatchewan,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
And they're pretty good. They played decently today, and look forward to that game tomorrow.
I remember the day we were to play a tournament in Moose Jaw, but unfortunately, I'm serious, absolutely serious. Unfortunately, it was canceled, but that was the day I thought I was going to get to Saskatchewan.
Skinner jamming for Emerald City is your lead jammer. Meanwhile, on the Lava City Cinder Kitten side is Trouble Clef as Skinner slides through and puts 4 points up on the board.
I love that. Look at that offensive blocking. You or I might have had a shot at running through there. That lane was that wide open.
4 more up for Skinner as Trouble Clef trapped at the back. Has the cap in hand and forced out of bounds again and has to roll back. Skinner forcing past Krabby Abby. Taps the hips, calls off the jam.
I tell you, you watch Skinner, and there's just an air about her where you know she knows exactly where everybody is and what's going on. She's looking up at the scoreboard to see how much time is left.
Yep.
It just strikes me as a very heady player.
And puts on the 15-point jam as the score is very patient.
I love patient jammers because they're deceptively slow.
Yes.
You don't think about it, and then all of a sudden they've got that quick step, and they're gone.
They just shoot through. All right, jam refs conferring with the scorekeepers to make sure everything is tracked correctly, and we reset with Psychotic Angel set to jam for the Reservoir Dolls. Cinder Kittens sending out number 88, Darth Molly. In this battle of the cities, emeralds and lavas. You would think in a battle of an emerald and lava, the lava would probably win. It's hotter.
It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors. It only makes sense.
Exactly. Darth Molly through first, lead jammer. And Darth Molly engaging the pack, trying to tap the hips, finally gets it done, but not before Psychotic Angel steals the 4 points. So a 4-2 sneaky maneuver by Emerald City. Takes them to 89 to 17.
Lava City just getting to that point where their defense could play pretty solid. But it's at, as you and I both know, and particularly in Junior Derby, the art of offensive blocking still exists. And you got to be able to flip that switch and know when to go when you have to block for your jammer. Emerald City just doing a better job of that right now.
So far, definitely true. And Juke Skywalker jamming for Emerald City is your lead. Twisted Sista, your jammer for the Cinder Kittens, finds room on the outside and breaks through, completing that initial pass half a lap behind Juke. As Juke takes a shoulder from Krabby Abby, but keeps the feet in bounds. The track awareness on all of these juniors is astounding. Just the knowing where my feet are at all times. I barely know where my feet are right now, and I'm sitting in a chair. Juke Skywalker.
In the end, I think Krabby Abby got a little payback there.
And then gets blown up by Juke, but Juke gets the high block because they hit her a little too tall.
Yeah, and that's number 4.
That is. Meanwhile, Twisted Sista bumped out and rolling back, has to roll all the way back behind Death Wish. Death Wish standing at the top of turn 1. Twisted Sista looking to the clock, no pivot on the track as Krabby Abby also signaling to her bench that she's sitting with 4 penalties. It was the pair of 4s in the penalty box right then as Juke Skywalker now out of the box and rolling in slowly. Death Wish with an open the door block that knocks Gnarly Quinn to the track. Gnarly Quinn's slow to get up, but is back up on the track as Twisted Sista takes off the helmet cover, but no attempt to pass it off. As Juke Skywalker hops over the hip check and grabs 4 more points rather. 5 points up for Krabby Abby. So I'm seeing 12-5 on the scoreboard as the jam refs come over again to just confer, check out. And yes, I believe that is it. 102-22 with 12 minutes to go in the first period. Psychotic Angel is jamming against Frecklenator, and Psychotic Angel is the lead jammer. Got caught looking at the wrong list.
And Frecklenator going to get called on a track cut.
And not looking happy about it at all. As she will sit down and 5 points will go up on the board for Psychotic Angel. Psychotic Angel directing her skaters to hold up and let the pack straighten out. One thing I have noticed with Lava City is they are doing a lot of straight-up four walls, not a lot of your braced tripod, more
No, we're really
advanced
not
defense.
seeing that out of either team.
They seem to be content to just spread the line and
Yep.
go one-on-one and move side to side.
Old school derby, coach.
So 5 more up for Psychotic Angel as Frecklenator out of the penalty box and diving through the pack very quickly.
Of course, as you and I both, well, yeah, I guess we do. We are seeing some of the triangle racing from Emerald City. The four wall works, and we both know that works, but it only works if it's moving.
Yes.
It does not work well when you're standing still because you can't see anybody coming, and they're coming right through your back.
Always tough to block someone who's moving at speed when you're starting from a stand.
Yeah, it's just pure physics, and it's one of the big things that you and I have witnessed change with the game. Speed change was a crucial part of offense and defense.
And Scooby Smack jamming for the Reservoir Dolls is your lead jammer. That's Darth Molly jamming for the Cinder Kittens, throwing shoulders all the way through the pack. Playing the, if you're going to show me a hittable area, I'm going to hit it technique, which works quite well, but this time back block called. As aiming for that hittable area when it turns around,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
out of luck.
The sternum is a nasty place to land a hit, but it's totally legal.
Yep.
But the minute it becomes a shoulder blade, you're out of luck.
Scooby Smack caught in the run back, picks up the cut track penalty, so another loss of lead jammer and a full 2-minute jam. And now power jam for Darth Molly, who is through on the hop, completing the initial pass. A little under a minute to go in the jam left.
And of course, this is where Lava City should really make a push.
As they are bracing at the back. Now attempting the tripod defense, but Scooby Smack running around the outside, ducking low, and jukes around the inside. Grabs the 4 points, 5 points for Darth Molly. Scooby Smack swooping inside to out. Trying to find room. Caught by Krabby Abby. I'm a be feisty. Tries to throw the shoulder. Not quite able to knock Scooby Smack out of bounds.
I think one thing that's really a hard matchup for Lava is just there's such a significant height difference between the two teams. And when some of these taller players can get lower, it means they can get more leverage as well.
Indeed, and Darth Molly taking off the helmet cover, possibly to pass, but carried it through the pack, and no points on that pass. Did emerge from the pack, but didn't have any points as they are not awarded if you're not wearing the star on your helmet.
Kind of funny how that happens.
Yeah, so a hard-fought 5 points. A 5-11 jam law win for Emerald City Reservoir Dolls. Beetlejuice now jamming for Lava City against Death Wish. And Death Wish is your lead jammer. Beetlejuice bumped to the outside, now hung up behind the tripod at the back of the pack as Death Wish stretching things forward.
She's doing a nice job of fighting through it, but it's just one of those situations where it's taking too much time because they're unable to trap the opposing jammer.
Right. This time, Frecklenator with the run back was signaling the cut as she ran, like, you're going to get this, right? And they did. Death Wish off to the penalty box.
Yeah, so Beetlejuice going to get dropped out of bounds. She's going to come back into play.
And another full 2-minute jam with Beetlejuice pushing forward.
And this is something we see in women's derby all the time, too. But you've got somebody sitting on the bench for 30 seconds. Go ahead and offensively get your jammer through.
Frecklenator did move forward to attempt some offense, but Beetlejuice not able to get out of the middle of the pack as Juke Skywalker bumping her to the inside. Now Death Wish out of the box. rolling back. Frecklenator with the run with the pull back, but leaves a gap open. And she gets the foot out of bounds. I was watching her go, and I'm like, I think that's on the line. I can't tell too well from here, but yes, it was, in fact, over the line on the skate. So Death Wish back to the penalty box with another cut track.
I think she actually expected to absorb a hit there. That's what it looked like, and it didn't come. And
she kind of overcompensated a little out.
Yeah, exactly. And she got herself a little off balance.
Beetlejuice accelerates into the pack, but the pack stops her solid and not able to get the hips past anyone. So Emerald City holding tight on the power jam at the end. And Beetlejuice clearly a little bit tired after that 2 minutes of pushing against defense. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, today's game takes so much endurance and physical strength.
And timeout called by Emerald City with 5.5 minutes to go in our first period.
Putting her arms around her teammates and saying, it's okay.
It's all right. We're going to get through this, and then we'll go have, I don't know, ice cream or something.
Ice cream?
Yeah, maybe.
Where?
It's probably
Where?
some sort of, I don't know. There's got to be some somewhere in town.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank Tacovore.
I'm hanging around with the wrong people.
Clearly. You got to hang out with the juniors more. They get ice cream. You need tacos and margaritas with a kick-ass tequila menu? Tacovore is your place in Eugene to let your hair down and enjoy the town. So if you're in Eugene, head to Tacovore.
Well, we are in Eugene.
We are. So we could go. I'm speaking to the our viewers at home.
So you, being the trivia guy that you are, what famous classic comedy film was filmed at the University of Oregon?
I believe that would be National Lampoon's Animal House.
Nice.
That's more of a like Northwesterner kind of thing.
And what film was filmed at the University of Oregon that they made sure they never let anybody film another movie there?
Exactly.
Animal House. If you've never read the story, you should.
Frecklenator on the power start. Death Wish standing in the penalty box. And Frecklenator out first. Lead jammer. Lava City, third lead jammer call for Lava City, I believe, so far in this half. And Death Wish out. Nice hip check. Bumped out just enough to roll back and blows up Krabby Abby. And Krabby Abby both laughing about it, but also perhaps not so happy with that hit. It was legal, it was hard, and as the jam is called off, Krabby Abby heading back to the bench. 4 points up for Death Wish, 2 points for Lava City. A total of 6 for Lava City.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will reset with Scooby Smack jamming against Darth Molly. And Darth Molly caught at the back. Scooby Smack pushing towards the front. One to beat, and beat them he does. Scooby Smack lead jammer.
Yeah, nice duck under. Carried the blocker, looked like, for a little bit.
And Darth Molly works around the outside of number 22, Soul Patch, or Sour Patch, rather. I keep seeing that as Sour Patch and then reading it wrong.
Another nice duck under.
Darth Molly now in for her initial scoring pass as Scooby Smack bumped about and called on the penalty.
Yeah,
back
that's
block.
got to be a back block, yep.
Came in a little too hot and bumped down the blocker, so power jam now for Darth Molly and 5 points up on the board.
I tell you, it's really fun. This is the first time I've seen junior refs.
Yes, these two refs actually refed, I think they were here last year as well. 5 points up for Darth Molly. A 10-point total jam takes Lava City to 43. Lava City defense awaiting the return of Scooby Smack, who is now out of the penalty box and bouncing left and right. Finally, pinballs to the front. That's 5 more points for Darth Molly. 4 points for Scooby Smack. So we're down to about.
Oh, there's an apex jump.
Yes. And Scooby Smack almost taking out a ref, but not quite.
That was Air Molly. Gets the landing gear down. Your beverage service is not disrupted. Nor did they pull anybody off the plane and beat them silly.
No, they did not. So Lava City 19-11 on that run. And that takes them to 52, trailing Emerald City 151-52. And Lava City will call for a timeout. They had used their official review earlier. We will join another sponsorship mention for our friends at Girls on Track. Girls on Track wants to keep girls in the game by supporting junior roller derby programs. Visit their table in the vendor area if you're coming to the event to learn how you can be part of the movement, or you can go online, girlsontrackfoundation.org. That's girlsontrackfoundation.org.
Yeah, definitely give that a look. A brand new organization to promote roller derby to young girls.
It's a great sport for building confidence, and as my daughter says, I get to go out and hit people.
Yes.
She enjoys that.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both know that. It doesn't matter if it's been the women's game, the kids' game, if it's even the men's game, but the women and the kids in particular take so much confidence away. We've seen it change people's lives, and it's, there are thousands of emotional stories out there about how roller derby has changed people's lives, and it's
indeed.
Even for people like you and I, that's the most important part of our story.
That it is. I'm going to be feisty jamming for Lava City for the first time tonight, but it is number 13, Psychotic Angel, jamming for the Reservoir Dolls, who is your lead jammer as I'm going to be feisty out of the pack, completing the initial pass. Psychotic Angel through, taps the hips, calls off the jam. And a minute 24 to go in the half. So I have to crane my neck around to see the clock. Conveniently placed behind where we can see it.
It's actually kind of funny in my case because I'm 15 years removed from neck surgery. So I'm kind of like, what's back there?
I can't turn my head that way. You're not an owl, Bob. Frecklenator jamming against
Lost my whole NFL career as a wide receiver.
Deathwish jamming for Emerald City. Pushes to the front and blows past lead jammer Emerald City. And Frecklenator heading to the penalty box. Forearm penalty being signaled by the referee. So power jam. A 3-point no pass, no penalty called for Deathwish. As Emerald City lining up for the passive-aggressive, slowing the pack down and then clearing open a lane on the inside. Deathwish through 5 points on the second pass.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Emerald City does a nice job of even their offensive moves somehow defensively put them in a defensive position.
They do. Deathwish going on one leg to keep the foot in bounds. Grabs a second 5-point pass on the power jam as Frecklenator out of the box, shoulders aside a blocker and dives through, completing the initial pass. As the period clock now to 0, last jam of the half going on with Deathwish taps the hips to call off the jam. And that takes us to halftime, Mr. Noxious. 172-52. We'll take a 10-minute break and be back with the second half of the Emerald City Junior Gems Reservoir Dolls versus the Lava City Cinder Kittens. at the
Absolutely.
Big O. The score is unchanged, 172 to 52.
Mary Cass lost her microphone cable, so it's all me all day.
Of course, anytime you're in a situation like this and you're the underdog team, you go on into halftime.
Oh, thanks, man.
Try to win the half or try to increase your output in the half. And that's got to be Lava City's goal right now. Individually, I think their skaters are really quite talented. Just don't have that same level of cohesion yet that Emerald City.
Right, and they are, to their credit, they're skating a short roster in this game, and they also had a game earlier today, so clearly seeing some. Granted, they're kids, but everybody gets tired. Also had a couple of kids injured. I saw one or two walking around with no skates on earlier, so that's going to make things even tighter on the line. As Psychotic Angel, lead jammer for the Reservoir Dolls. Number 22, Twisted Sister jamming for the Cinder Kittens. And Psychotic Angel forced out of bounds, rolled back by Frecklenator.
Reservoir Dolls actually a home team name for one of the Madison teams.
Ah.
I have a Reservoir Dolls shirt. It's just not the same.
That's good. And there's a men's team, Reservoir Dogs, and they've taken pictures side by side because they have very similar
logos,
logos and costumes. Or outfits, costumes. What am I talking about? Uniforms, that's the word I meant. Good Lord.
Clothing, whatever you call it.
It's been a long day.
Apparel.
Psychotic Angel calls off the jam after grabbing her 4 points, or 5 points rather, takes Emerald City to 177. This game being skated in the open division. Emerald City currently ranked number 20 in the JRDA. Lava City not currently ranked as they don't have enough sanctioned games yet. As Juke Skywalker out to jam for Emerald City, and Frecklenator jamming for Lava City. And Juke Skywalker, nice hop to grab lead jammer.
Yeah, he did a nice job of just patiently moving side to side, waiting for that inside line to open. That first step of his is so explosive.
And then he almost tripped himself up. And bumped out, calls off the jam while falling to the ground. He grabs 3 points, but 1 point snuck through by Frecklenator. Takes us to 180 to 53. And Twisted Sister back on the jammer line against Scooby Smack.
As I look over to track number 3, it looks like Minnesota is having their way with Rat City. 217 to 134.
And that is the final
That's
score.
The final score, actually.
Minnesota looking good over there. Twisted Sister bumped out of bounds, slides back out of bounds, but the track cut called. So Twisted Sister off to the penalty box as Scooby Smack ducks through for 5 points.
Putting 5 points up as Twisted Sister picks up and cutting the track penalty. She's going to head to the box. She's going to put a power jam out there for Scooby Smack.
Twisted Sister sitting in the box while Scooby Smack bounces between Darth Molly and Trouble Clef. Kind of pinball style through the pack. Calls for his team to move forward and mix things up. Darth Molly.
Molly.
That was either going to be a stop block or a forearm. She did take down number 111, Ambassador, who was trying to take her out on the offensive maneuver, but not quite able to. 5 more points up for Scooby Smack. Taking him to 20 on the jam.
Interesting how Emerald City has a jammer core that is all built about the same height.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then they're not. They do tend to go for the seemingly taller on the end.
I mean, this is really a really tall team.
Good work leaning in and just adding a little bit of a turbo.
Meanwhile, back in play is Twisted Sister, forced out of bounds to the inside and rolling to the front. Ambassador with the shoulder. Tries to get through the inside, but not able to. Scooby Smack room on the outside. Adds another 5 to the total. Same to 35 on the jam. As Twisted Sister again bumped out of bounds and slides through. Time runs out on the jam. A 35-0 run for Emerald City. Takes them to 2:15 to 53 with 25 minutes to go in the game. As looking at the crowd, it would appear that the Victoria game is over because everyone's leaving and moving over here.
Well, we knew they'd come to see us sooner or later.
That's right.
I mean, it's Scott Chicken and Bob Nash.
So what's not to see? They can't hear us, but that's all right. Unfortunately, you're stuck with that. 3:33, Beetlejuice jamming and steps through. Lead jammer, Beetlejuice. Excellent work finding that gap on the inside.
Oh, comes in hard. Somebody, nope, okay.
Calls off the jam. Psychotic Angel had just popped out of the pack.
Beetlejuice moving a little gingerly. She came into that pack full blaze and nothing was going to move. So that was a pretty strong collision at the end there.
Darth Molly out with the star. And number 111, Ambassador, now jamming for Emerald City. Ambassador shouldered out twice, and Darth Molly is your lead jammer. And about a third of a track lead as Ambassador also out. Darth Molly forced out of bounds, taps the hips, calls off the jam. Jam ref going out to check with the outside pack refs. Do we have any points? Yes, we got two. 2 points up for Darth Molly. Takes Lava City to 55 and holds Emerald scoreless with 2:15.
First time I think we've seen Ambassador jam tonight.
Scooby Smack back with the star for Emerald City. Twisted Sister jamming for the Cinder Kittens, and Scooby Smack lead jammer. Twisted Sister trapped at the back, pushing forward.
Oh, Frecklinator looked like she had her dead to rights. She even didn't know where she went. She got down so low, she got right under the hit.
And
Not
Scooby,
this time.
Not this time. Scooby Smack works his way past Frecklinator and out the front 5 points. And Scooby Smack dives through again for 5 more points as Twisted Sister towards the back, now trying to find Frecklinator. It looks like 33 Skinner was blocking the key as Twisted Sister heads to the penalty box as the jammer. The star now tossed to the ref lane as Frecklinator, aware that she's not allowed to keep holding that. So she will just turn to defense as Scooby Smack coming back through. And Scooby Smack taking another shoulder from Darth Molly, who bumps out of bounds herself as Scooby Smack. Now there's the lane on the outside. Emerald City able to open up that gap. And Scooby Smack works his way through.
Yeah, you get the feeling Lava City wants to make sure they at least felt this game.
Exactly. Twisted Sister now out of the box, skating over to grab the star. And then choosing to roll back forward before coming back into play. Scooby Smack clears the pack. Jam comes to an end. a 29-point run for Scooby Smack, 244 to 55. Tipsy Terror now out on the jammer line for Emerald City. First time jamming this evening. And
Emerald City certainly appears like they've got a number of players that are going to be up into the adult ranks before very long.
I think so. They've already sent one from last year, Gallifrey, now playing on the Rose City Rollers. Straight from Emerald City to the Charter. And timeout called by Lava City, burning as much clock to give their team as much rest as possible because they are definitely getting tired.
You know, I really think that's one thing about the Junior Roller Derby. For those people who don't follow it all that closely, they don't realize how. I mean, this was obviously designed as a farm system,
right?
But they have no idea how many people are now being fed into the adult leagues.
Exactly. I think that Rat City was just featuring. Had two. One new join was on there, and another who aged out a couple of years ago.
Logan Childs, who we've seen before, now on the Misfits, I believe. The number of people who have moved up into the adult leagues.
So Tipsy Terror set.
I remember back in the day when I saw the Tucson Derby Brats in 2006, and I think I waited about 8 years to see somebody Loose Bandit move up.
Yeah, that was
onto the Charter team, and now, of course, it's happening every year.
Yeah, things have grown a bit since 2006. In the junior game, Tipsy Terror jamming for the Reservoir Dolls. I'ma Be Feisty for Lava City is now on her way to the penalty box with the star for the back block as she hit the back of the pack a bit too hard. So Tipsy Terror now juking through.
There you go.
Almost
a little speed.
Krabby Abby back in the game after taking that heavy hit, grimacing a bit as she gets up, but back in play. And Tipsy Terror through for 5. And Krabby Abby again with the shoulder check, taking her out. Well, excellent heart and good track awareness and knowing when that door needs to be closed.
The thing is now that when they're on defense, they're starting to move with the jammer. It makes all the difference in the world. As they were standing there as a four wall, it was just a matter of finding the separation between shoulders and punching through.
Right. And if you can challenge that gap and hit it
the
right,
minute they
it's
roll,
all going to work.
Take some of that speed differential away. It gives you a lot more control.
And you've got more maneuverability because you're in motion as well.
Yep.
Power jam start, but it lasts about a second and a half as I'ma Be Feisty is released from the penalty box and now pushing towards the back. But Death Wish jamming for Emerald City out first, lead jammer.
Wonder if she knows who Charles Bronson is.
Could be. I don't know.
That was a series of movies that was about 4 too long.
Exactly. I was going to say I was never really a big Charles Bronson fan.
No.
Death Wish does hop over the legs, however, and grab 4 points up. And to wait to see if the thumb was out or not. Oh, Death Wish side to side, but forced out on the outside by Darth Molly. Now looking to the in, holds the foot up just long enough. So 4 on 4. As I'ma Be Feisty also clears the pack. 12-4 showing on the scoreboard for the jam. As Darth Molly tosses a shoulder Death Wish's way. Death Wish grabs the 5 points on that pass. I'ma Be Feisty.
Yeah, those Emerald City jammers really good at getting low at the right time, lowering that center of gravity to absorb those hits. They're really not doing a whole lot to them in many cases.
I'ma Be Feisty shouldered towards the back and ends up out of bounds. 5 more for Death Wish, calls off the jam. 22-4. takes us to 275 to 61. Make that 22-6.
Point score right now, Reservoir Dolls sitting at 275, Cinder Kittens 61. Just under 17 and a half minutes left in the second half of the last game of the night, if I'm not mistaken.
It is indeed the other two tracks have geared up.
I want to say, this being a junior game, half of those kids
Official timeout called.
that's probably, this is a late game for an 11-year-old. Is it not? I don't know. I'm not a parent. My kid's 4 weeks old, so she didn't have sleeping time yet. Should you all be in bed? or doing your
Interestingly
homework?
enough, during this timeout, I think G.I. Jones just said, I wouldn't know what time bedtime is because he's not a parent, but I have a child that's 4
Did
weeks
hear that.
old.
You know,
That's
he's
kind of
new to it. He's new to the game.
He's still tired.
He is still tired. Hey, if you'd like to play along at home, feel free to tag your cats and dogs watching the Big O on your computers. Use the hashtag Big O Cats or hashtag Big O Dogs, because we love to see pictures of your cats and dogs watching
And
roller
of course,
derby.
importantly, if you don't understand social media and you're trying to figure out how to tag your animal, please don't.
Yes, you don't need one of them staple gun things to
No,
put it in their
no,
ear. That's
no,
not how
no,
this works
no,
at all.
No, we don't. We won't show any of those pictures.
You can also tag Bob Noxious at Mad Rollin' Bob.
Yes, you can.
Or you can find me at Scott Chicken. I never check Twitter, but feel free to tag me in a tweet, and maybe someday I'll see it.
You've been wondering why your phone vibrates all the time.
I enjoy that. What can I say? A quick star pass, Twisted Sister passing off to Frecklenator, but Frecklenator not quite able to get out, and instead back blocks her own player on the way through. That totally legal, of course. I don't think Trouble Clef was looking to get knocked to the ground, but it does happen sometimes.
Frecklenator has not had the success that she's wanted to have tonight, but she's got all the tools in the toolbox. And as she plays a few more of these higher level games, gets a little more time on the track, I think she's really going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I would agree with that. Meanwhile, Psychotic Angel jamming for Emerald City is your lead jammer, and through on a second scoring pass with 4 as Frecklenator also picking up 4. So an 8-4 run now as 2 blockers only on the track. Frecklenator, a little bit of contact time. Psychotic Angel trips up and goes to the ground, not ruled to be because of the hit.
No, actually, she hockey stopped a little bit, and the skate locked up, and she went over the front of it.
Yep, I think as I mentioned
think
earlier,
that-
getting a little tired.
Yep.
A little tired and a little sloppy. Takes a
but there
big
she takes
shoulder.
a big hit.
Big sternum shot, and penalty sending both blockers. Now 1-1-1 called back to the track as there was some confusion on who was called, and jam called off, I believe, because Frecklenator shaken up. She was hit, had a hard hit in the last game as well.
She's had the wind knocked out of her. You can tell from the way she's trying to breathe. She took a shot to the sternum. Which is legal, which is totally legal. Though the player that delivered the shot was called, I'm not sure. We didn't see a hand signal. What for exactly?
No, I think it may have been stop block because I'm not sure that the wheels were rolling in derby direction when the shoulder was moving forward.
Yeah.
So the medic team coming over to check her out. Let us thank Moda Skates. Briefly, Moda Skates helping sponsor this wonderful Big O tournament. Moda Wheels, your sport, our passion. Sniff out Moda's genuine TKO urethane and new IT wheels, Mota Toxic. So 15 minutes to go in the game. Our current score sitting 292 to 65. As I mentioned, these teams will be playing again tomorrow. At 10:30 in the morning, Angel City will be playing against these Lava City Cinder Kittens. And 2 hours after that, 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, Emerald City will be playing the Gapland
And we have just received notice that they are calling the game.
And that,
So
I
the
think,
ga-
as
the ga-
we've seen, as we mentioned before, Lava City starting off with a short roster anyway. And I think they lost at least, had one skater not returned after the first half, and they've had a couple of injuries right now as well. So with that ending, our final score will be what is on the board unofficially, 292-67. Our jam refs are checking in with the scorekeepers to round things up, but that will do it for track 2 at the Big O tournament for Friday. 1 day down, Bob.
Well,
Only
you
2 more to
know
go.
what? You bring in the last game, you bring in the heavy hitters.
That's
you
right.
Like shut the place down. We turn off the lights. We lock the doors. Actually, we
I
shouldn't
might let
joke
someone
about
else turn
that.
off
That
the lights. They probably
is part of our
probably line us up for that. So again, tomorrow things get started at 10 o'clock on track 1 with New York versus the Bridgetown Menace out of Portland in the men's roller derby. Also on track 3, more MRDA action with Victoria versus Chinook. And then at 10:30 right here on track 2, we're back to the juniors. Angel City Junior Derby A-listers versus the Lava City Cinder Kittens.
And it looks like they got everybody lined up.
They're doing some handshaking, and I think we will call it a night. Bob
Absolutely.
Noxious, it's been a pleasure.
Always, Scott. Always a pleasure to work with you. Thanks to everybody who's been watching and tuned in. And certainly keep track of what's going on with us over the weekend.
Yep, we will see you again tomorrow morning.